Alright guys, this is our weekly solo players guide to the Nightfall. This is our Titan variant. So if you're new to the channel, we do this every single Tuesday and Wednesday with all three classes, Warlock, Hunter, and Titan. So if you need any of those guides, link are in the description down below. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you're new. And we also do a Challenge of Elders guide every single Tuesday as well. That's also going to be in the description box down below. But otherwise, let's go ahead and look at what the modifiers are for the week, and then we'll rock the setup as far as weapon recommendations, subclass recommendations, subclass perk recommendations, and yeah, other than that, we'll rock the guide right after that. Modifiers this week include Arc Burn, Solar Burn, and Void Burn. Will all do a lot more damage from every source, so watch out for that. Ironclad, more enemies have shields, and Daybreak, which just gives you mayhem modifiers, so your grenades, melees, and supers are going to recharge very, very quickly. You might get a super every 20 to 30 seconds, so that's a lot of fun. We start off with the Supercell, but if you have something like Chaos Dogma, that's going to work out a whole lot in your favor because it will do bonus damage to Fallen. Same thing with Devil's Dawn / Ex Machina. Those two snipers will also do a bit of extra damage to Fallen. Ex Machina, I think, more so than Devil's Dawn. And then we rock a Silver Dread, and then at the final boss fight we switch over to the Gallahorn. We're rocking Armamentarium for double grenade charges, and we're using the Fender this time. I feel like I always use Sunbreakers, so we're going to switch it up a little bit. We're going Untouchable, reduces the cooldown time for the Ward of Dawn, so you can get even faster. And Bastion increases the duration, so it's going to last longer. I like Unbreakable. I know a lot of people use War Machine. That one's really good too. This one will regenerate just like your health will, only it'll be an overshield for a little while. I'm rocking Weapons of Light, but if you want to rock Blessings, that's fine too. And then Spike Grenades do a butt ton of damage, so I would suggest those. Other than that, let's go ahead and rock this guide. Alright, so this Nightfall starts off right, immediately in the restricted zone. So go ahead and just don't double jump until you get to about here. That way you won't wake up both of the Shriekers at the same time. As you can see, one blast is about a third damage, and that's probably missing a few bolts. So just be very careful of that. Come along down here. There's going to be two knights, one wizard, and like 4 or 5 of the cursed thralls. Go ahead and take them out. I would focus on the wizard first, and then go for the knights, and then obviously the cursed thralls last. Once you get them, go ahead and move on. Once you come down here, you're going to want to take out this turret right there. You don't want to do what I do here unless you can be really fast. Well, that was a different run. Good. Go ahead and just take down these two turrets as quickly as possible, and then just move right on ahead. Unless you really want those points, you won't need them to get the Sunrise bounty, but it might help you out depending on how your time is going. Otherwise, there's going to be one major captain and one major vandal in here, surrounded by a bunch of other vandals, about 5 or 6 other vandals. Go ahead and focus on the snipers and the captain first, since they're the closest to you. There's going to be one sniper way in the back, hiding behind one of the Skiva cluster things. So go ahead and take care of him third, and then just clean up the other two, actually other 3 vandals just to the left. and then we're gonna start getting waves of enemies. There's gonna be about 3 or 4 waves, each with 3 enemies. First 2 are going to be vandals, 3 melee vandals specifically. The third one is going to be 3 dregs, same as after that, 3 more dregs. And then there's going to be a wave of 1 vandal, or 2 vandals, 1 Siva, 1 normal. Once you take out all those guys, Taniks will spawn in. So what I like to do is throw my grenade about there. That way he can kind of get caught in the blasts, grenade blasts, just like you see. Pop a bubble if you're rocking Weapons of Light. That way you can get a bunch of damage. I think this Devil's Dawn does like 51 to the head at 400 light. So just go ahead and do that. If you're using Blessings of Light, don't feel bad. I don't blame you at all. This guy packs a very hard punch, so you're going to want to stay in this tunnel that we're in right now. It gives you a lot of cover and a lot of running away space in case your health gets very low. I wouldn't recommend, if you get hit once, immediately go back. You can hit some cover, pop a bubble, do something. Just don't stand there, because that second blast will kill you no matter how hard the first bullet hits you. So just be aware of that. Once he goes away, go ahead and follow him up into the next little section here. Once you get into this room, what I like to do is just go ahead and kill this Siva cluster and move on down. The encounter won't start until you get here, so go ahead and throw your grenade there. And then what I like to do is throw a grenade there. I don't know why that guy teleported right there, but he did. Just go ahead and keep throwing grenades there. Be very careful of any enemies coming at you. They will come at you eventually. And then just pop a bubble and just do the same thing as before. Now there used to be a piece of cover that you could hide on top of that's just above us and you glitch out. That section is no longer viable. They put one of those immune Siva clusters there, so you'll eventually just kind of burn out from the Siva damage. So just be very aware of that. So you're gonna have to use between your bubble and these computer decks for cover. Your bubble should last the entire time as you get your next bubble, if you are using that. Otherwise, just go ahead and keep doing damage to Taniks until he skips on down to downstairs. And then in that wave that's coming up the stairs, there's going to be 2 captains, some vandals, I think a couple dregs, if I'm not mistaken. So just be very careful of them. They are going to be shooting up at you, so if you can, go ahead and just lob grenades down there when you get the chance. Once Taniks goes down there, as you can see, there's going to be 4 or 5 shanks that spawn in. Go ahead and take them out. They're going to be shielded as well. And then just go ahead and keep throwing grenades down there until Taniks leaves. Some dregs are going to spawn in. Now once Taniks does leave, there is going to be a wave of about 6 or 7 dregs that come running up those stairs. If you're using Zhao Supercell or Fatebringer, would be another good option for that specific point. You can take him out really quickly. Alright, so once you're ready to take on the tank, go ahead and head to the left. There's going to be some vandals, a couple dregs, and 1 shock cannon, so be very careful of him. If you can throw your grenade right, you can hit him pretty decently with your grenade. You want to hold on to that shock cannon after you kill that captain, just so you can do a butt ton of damage to the boss. go ahead and throw your grenades to get rid of these vandals. And then once you hear Taniks left, go ahead and head over here. And I like to throw a couple grenades right on that door to get rid of most of those vandals. There is going to be a solar cannon captain over there, normal health, as well as a major captain on the ground floor there. So just be careful of them, take them out, and then start worrying about the tank. Try and hit the leg pieces. That is going to be the crit spots until the neck opens up. So go ahead and try and do your best to hit with the cannons on those legs to do the most damage, and then go ahead and take out that solar cannon captain. If you're using weapons of light, pop your bubble before you shoot your cannons at the tank. You'll do even more damage. It's insane. So go ahead and just do that, and then you should, if you're using weapons of light, you should be able to take out the cannon or the tank in like 2 cannon shots and maybe a couple sniper shots. Once you get the tank down to half-ish health, it is going to spawn in more enemies, so be very careful of that. In that way, there's going to be 2 more shot cannons, so be very careful of that, as well as some hive and some vandals and dregs. But as long as you kill that spider tank really quickly, you shouldn't have to worry about them at all. Now, if you can, also grab one of these shot cannons. You're going to want them for the next bit with Taniks. That way you can just not even have to worry about, oh, did I do enough damage? If you use your bubble and the shot cannon, he should just go straight to the final room. If not, don't worry about it. You'll see me die here. So just be very careful. It is pretty dangerous. And then we'll just move on. And once you get to the final boss fight, go ahead and pop your bubble around here, whether it's for blessings or weapon of light, that's up to you. Go ahead, as you can see, I already switched to Gallahorn here. Go ahead and do that now if you want to, or you can wait until the second wave of enemies. As you can see, 2 Gallahorn shots with weapons of light does pretty much get rid of that first round of Taniks damage, which is pretty great. So if you stand on this thing that's just above us here, the ads normally will go straight for you up and around the stairs, which is awesome. Or you can use the top there like I am as cover. Remember, popping your bubble will give you health back, so definitely keep that in mind. And then just worry about the ads mostly, and then do damage to the little clusters. And then once you get all of the clusters, go ahead and start doing damage to the boss. As soon as you hear that that teleportation sound, go ahead and just jump straight over to where we started off in this room, because he's going to go behind where we're standing now. And in that wave is where I definitely suggest you have a Gallahorn, because there's going to be a lot of servitors. I think there's about 6 of them. So just be aware of that. And then once you do all that, you're just going to go ahead and do the same thing as before. Take out all the ads. Kill off all the SIVA clusters. And then you're going to go to the little stage to our immediate left. And there's where you're going to want to do damage. You can actually head glitch them, as you'll see in a minute. And Taniks won't be able to hit you. You just have to be a little careful on how close you are to the edge. And then after that, he's going to teleport again, and you're going to come running right where we're standing right now. And you're going to do the exact same thing. Only this time there's going to just be Invis, Vandals, a couple Exploder Shanks, and some regular Shanks. Those Invis, Vandals, and Exploder Shanks will come out of the same door that the first wave of ads came out in this room. So just be very careful of that. If you stand kind of closer to where we are right now, they should ignore you, and you can just kind of kill them as they run past you. But do be aware that doesn't always happen. And then of course you just pop your super, pop your bubble if you're using that, and then just go ham on the boss. It shouldn't take more than a few seconds. Actually, and in that third wave, I wouldn't even suggest worrying about the ads all that much. Just go ahead and take out the clusters, kill any of the ads that come at you. Otherwise, you can just completely ignore them and just kill the boss. And that's going to do it for this video. So I hope you found it helpful, informative, useful, whatever. If you did, hit the like button. Links in the description down below for all the other guides. Rewards are at the end of the video. And other than that, I will talk to you guys later.